What is up, my friends? Welcome back to the third part of my Inside the Score series for Empty Holes, the series where we're going to be talking about my newest original song. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the orchestration and the arrangement. It's going to be a lot of fun because this is really where all the magic happens. Once we establish the musical foundation of the melody and harmony and the lyrics and get all of that out of the way, then it really comes to how do we use the musical material to support the foundations outside of that. So this is kind of like the icing on the cake, if you will, right? Because we established the melody and harmony, those are the basic building blocks, and now we get to actually add instruments. And you can hear from like the majority of it, it is orchestrally based, and of course there's piano, there's some guitar in there as well, there's drums. And I'm a big firm believer that you should really like lay down your basic elements first. The foundational elements that you know are going to be included in the song. Put those down at the very beginning. So for me, I knew I wanted a piano track, so that's what I did with the piano and the cinematic piano, both from Cine Piano. Sounds like this. Just layer them together. So cinematic piano has this. Here it's a little more close and upfront and personal. Cine Piano, on the other hand, is a little further away. And so I wanted that little more of an attack layered in with the soft, felty nature of the cinematic piano. That's basically going through the duration of the whole song. I have the piano happening for the entire thing. Right? And so the piano is the foundation there. Then I decided the next thing I really wanted to lay down was the guitar, because the guitar is going to be doing some strumming patterns. So let me see if I can find where that was. Guitar strums should be down here. Let me see what I have. Here I'm just using the guitar strums from the Swing package from Project Sam. It's a very cool little patch. I just panned it a little bit left because I wanted it not to take up the entire center, because the piano is already there and a bunch of the instruments are already taking up the middle register. So just did a bit of that panning there. Of course, the thing you can't forget are the drums. You need the rhythmic element as well, and so that's with the drum kit. One is from Cineperc, the Pro package. It comes with a drum kit. Very punchy, very nice and upfront. Let's see what that sounds like. Right, so just a beautiful sounding kit. Processed very well. The other drum I layered in was from LA Sessions from Orchestral Tools. So a little more of a reverby sound, a lot of fatness to it. So layered it together, you get the attack from the Cineperc drum kit, but you get the fatness from the other drum kit. And so that layered in with the cinematic pianos and the guitar strums. And also the bass line is also very important. That sounds like this. Now you got a basic band going, and if you imagine the vocalist on top, for example, if I bring in these vocals, right, you get the basic foundation of the song, and it tells you everything you need to know. So everything else on top of this is going to be the icing on the cake. It's going to fill out the rest of the frequency spectrum. It's going to sound awesome. So then I was thinking, okay, well, I want this to be a string-based piece because a lot of Disney music is based around the string family. And if you can establish a great sound from the strings, then the rest of the orchestral section is basically used as color additions, right? Like woodwinds, brass. And so really I did that. As you can see here, I only have 2 woodwind tracks. I have the flute and the bassoon, both from Berlin Woodwinds, and then the solo horn I used from Cinematic Studio Brass, the legato horn, which is really beautiful. But yeah, I didn't really need very much woodwinds, excuse me, or brass at all. So in terms of the strings themselves, let's just hear what they sound like in context with everything else. Let's actually bring it into chorus 2.
I hope the empty holes within your heart are filled with the light of 100 smiles.
Take away these vocals. So you hear the strings are not really super up the middle, like in your face full. It's more on the edges, and it's kind of providing that polish around the entire thing. And that's kind of what I was going for. I didn't want something to be like so focused up the middle all the time with the strings, because they're in the background. They need to be supporting the edges as well. The main stuff I wanted to take out the middle were the vocals, right? Because if I hear those,
what you've been looking for.
you hear mostly it's up the center. Like these tracks are all up the center. These first 3 lead vocals. Then I pan the doubles, hard left, right, some in the middle, you know, and all that. But I really wanted it to be spread out evenly in terms of the distribution of the instruments. So in the stereo spectrum, I put most of the strings left and right. Notice I didn't hard pan anything left, right, because in an orchestral setting, you never really hear only violins in one ear and then the cellos in the other ear 100%. There's always like this middle ground. That's what I was going for there. And then the additional color of the flute and bassoon, if we just have a listen to that.
'Cause it all looks brighter when you
Hear the
look
flute
a
in the
little
top,
farther,
bassoon in the bottom.
praying for a better day.
Right? Then bringing in the horn.
Shouldn't keep to yourself where no one can help
Obviously,
to chase the demons away. I hope the empty.
you really hear that there, right? And it really cuts through the mix nicely when you go into those upper dynamics in the horn. So if we just open up Contact here, I'll show you the basic instruments I used. Sorry about that. So here you can see that I have I also have a basic pad here going on from Elysian to give that extra spacey feel at the very top. I have basic Cinematic Studio strings, all the string patches. I did not actually include in the basses though, because I ended up using the basses from Vista, from Performance Samples. I really liked the amount of presence they had in the mix, which is really nice. Here's the guitar strums that we talked about, the CSB solo horn, the flute and the bassoon from Berlin Woodwinds. Tina Guo's solo cello is a very nice feature in there as well. And then a solo instrument you hear throughout is a solo viola from Cinematic Studio Solo Strings. That's the instrument I like. I love this library, actually. It's very romantic. The legato is beautiful. They did a wonderful job. Here's the bass line, right? By the Fender Bass and Swing, timpani, piano, cinematic piano, cymbals, Vivaldi tremolo to rise into the next sections of the piece, the song. So all these elements are all working together. And traditionally, the type of instruments I like for my percussion are really these ones. Timpani, cymbals. Usually I put in a bass drum as well, but I didn't feel like I needed it for this one because of the drum kit taking care of the low end. Drum kits here, snares, snaps, shakers. These all provide a little extra flourish if you have a listen. So the snare just gives a little bit of extra punch to the drum kit. And you got the cymbals there as well to emphasize the downbeats in timpani as well. Really the only tonal percussion element here. Roll into the next one. That's what the timpani does. And then the rest, let's just go over this. The harp I have at the very beginning to do that plucked intro, so where does it actually come in? No, I don't know anymore. Oh, there we go. Right, so I really like that. For me, my favorite thing to add in here were these vocals. So let me play these for you. Excuse me. I'll show you where these are from. LA Sessions. The vocals here. Female soul ensemble, male soul ensemble. Just hear one of them. And the males do a wonderful job as well. So you can really hear how I pan them, slight left, slight right, because my main vocals are up the middle. So I wanted those soulful vocals to be on the side of supporting my main vocals there. And this is really like a soulful moment in the song, the chorus 2 and the bridge. So I really wanted to layer in those additional vocals there. Then I brought in the choir ooze from Time Macro. These have a beautiful sound. Chord pads from Cineorg. A little extra glue there. And then we talked about those elements at the bottom. But yeah, in terms of the strings, I just thought of this. Like the Vista violins, violas, and basses really help like the strings soar over the rest of the production really nicely, because they have this like beautiful romantic tone to them and just like very, very passionate. I love them, and layered in with CSS, my main workhorse string library at the moment. I think it just can cover like maybe 90%, 95% of what I do personally. So just, wonderful libraries on the market today. And so, yeah, that's essentially the idea. And you'll see here, I just have a couple extra things. I put in a Hollywood Winds run, Cinestrings runs, a couple runs there, and Hollywood Wind tremolos for that little Hollywood flavor. That's it. Super simple, but just makes it slightly more cinematic. And then little oboe legato there from Berlin Woodwinds. Oh yeah, this is the other woodwind I forgot to mention is the solo oboe. So the oboe is one of my favorite woodwind instruments. So this is from Berlin Woodwinds Expansion B, or the Soloist 1 library. And then here the pad at the very top. And then in terms of the vocal production, I kept a lead vocal going throughout, lead vocal double coming in the chorus 2, pan those left and right. And then in terms of the harmonies, I really stacked that up in the bridge. So when we got to the end of the bridge, you can kind of get this feeling.
But deep down inside your blistered heart.
So I'm going for the F dominant 7 there, the F7. And so if I spread that in like across all the different voices, then you get this nice wall of sound. And you can see I've done the panning there as well to accomplish that. But I didn't want to overload it too much. I just wanted it to expand with the song as the intensity got up, and then it kind of lowers back down the energy afterwards, So that's how that makes sense to me. And so, yeah, that's essentially the arrangement and the production, the orchestration behind the song. Again, I try to hear the strings as the main foundational element. I try to keep all the voice leading very, very smooth, very very natural, so it doesn't sound like it's jumping all over the place. And then I use the woodwinds and the brass to enhance that further, add additional colors, and the percussion, the drum kit all keeps a rhythmic aspect of it together, as it should, any pop song. And then I have these additional, voices. I have the harp there. These are all the ear candy things. Guitar strum is the rhythmic element as well. The Fender bass, sub bass fills in the low end. So all of the frequency spectrum is relatively covered there. Excuse me. And that's what I was going for. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that clears some things up if you are wondering about the production. And if you have any questions below, if you have any questions, please leave them below. I'd love to know. And if you want to dive a little further and write this style of music for yourself, please feel free to download my How to Write Disney and Nintendo Music Guide. It's absolutely free, but it'll take you through my personal process when analyzing a piece of music and going like, okay, well, what did they do here to make this chord sound so beautiful? Or what does this melody do to really soar above the rest? All those little things like that. This, going into this type of music is really a lot of fun, to be honest. And hopefully it can help you if you're interested in this type of music in the future. And again, I mentioned before, but I have something really juicy coming out in talking about this style of music specifically. It's going to be a super in-depth resource. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm going to tell you all about it very soon. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the final video where we'll talk about the mixing and the processing. I'll see you in that one. And yeah, take care. Bye-bye.